This school year, KPRC2 has embedded on the campus of Fleming Middle School, one of almost 90 schools operating under the new education system in HISD. Most of the coverage has explored the new curriculum, but this morning we're focusing on the role the community plays in the success of schools and why the support is desperately needed right now. KPRC2's Candace Burns joins us now to go more in depth on this topic. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming in early this morning.
Good morning, Zach.
Good morning. Talk to us. This is fascinating. We always say, I know it sounds cliche, right? We always say it takes a village.
I was going to say that.
But it certainly does. It really takes a community.
Especially in this case. These schools are NES schools. Now, remember, these were chosen by the new state-appointed superintendent because they were underperforming schools, or in most, not in all cases, but they feed into 3 of the lowest performing high schools in HISD's district. So these schools, they don't have all the resources that a more affluent school area would have. So the community and the parents being involved really does make a difference for these students.
And some argue that's where it starts, right? Is in the home.
But it's so easy to say, hey, parent, if you get involved, your kid will do better. But a lot of these parents are working 2 and 3 jobs. And they
it's
have
easier said than done.
Yeah, they're trying to provide dinner for the kids, you know what I mean? So that they can eat when they get home or keep the lights on. So there's a lot of factors that go into this.
Administrators that you're speaking with, what are they saying about parental involvement, community involvement?
They're trying really hard to get parents involved. At Fleming, the school that I'm embedded on this year, they've done so many things to grow their PTO, but unfortunately it's not growing as quickly as they want. For instance, there might be 4 or 5 parents involved this year, and it's dangerous because the majority of those are 8th grade parents. They won't be there next year, so they're even afraid that they might not have
anybody come next year.
And PTOs are so important because they are able to pick up the areas where the school district can't fund. For instance, during STAR testing, there's breakfast that's provided, there's snacks that's provided to help the kids, be a little more motivated. Food helps you when you're trying to focus.
Absolutely. And then if you don't have that food, you can't focus.
Right, and then the teachers often stay after and they tutor, so sometimes there might be sandwiches or snacks available for them. That's not a possibility here all the time. In fact, Mr. Adams, the principal, told me that he spent $700 of his own money during STAR testing. He had to dig into his own pocket to pay for snacks for the kids, and that's not uncommon at this school. Teachers are so amazing. Like, hug a teacher.
I know.
They're often going into their own pockets to keep their kids motivated, buying treats to keep them active in class, because if you offer them a candy bar, they're like, I'll do it. So.
And that's not, I want to say too, this is not unique to Fleming by any means. My sister-in-law is an assistant principal at an elementary school within HISD, and I know she goes above and beyond in her personal pocket to make sure these kids are getting what they need.
And that was the whole point of this story, not just for HISD. There's tons of research out there that says if parents are involved with their child's school, if community organizations that are around that school are involved, the engagement levels go up, the absentee levels go down, and grades go up. It takes a village, like you said, and if you have the resources, maybe the parent can't get there, but maybe the organizations around can volunteer or donate or help or sponsor. All of that makes a difference in making sure that our schools are successful.
I know. I think back to when I was going to school, my parents were extremely involved in my tenure, and I think back though to that time, and it was my parents and the same group of parents constantly being the only ones that showed up. And that is a concern, as you were mentioning. Like, a lot of these parents, they're parents of 8th grade students, so they graduate out into a high school. What is the district doing? What is this campus doing to entice more people to get involved?
Everything that they can. I mean, especially because this school is a new education system school, and for those of you who have been following along, you know what that is. That's new curriculum that's implemented by the state-appointed administration. And they wanted to get the parents involved with it. They want the parents to know what it is. So they even had parent nights where parents go through the NES system and see what their kids are doing. They have parent nights. They have paint and sips with with like sparkling juice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything that they can do to get the parents involved, but unfortunately they have low turnouts for all of those things for a number of reasons, but we got to figure out how to make this work, because we focus so much on the curriculum, we focus so much on the new system, but it takes all of this for the success of the schools.
It's like a puzzle, right? And it's putting that puzzle together, but you need all of the pieces in that puzzle to make it work.
Exactly. One of the teachers said, it's like not just telling me what to do, but showing me, you know, like you care, because guess what? You came to the teacher's night. Not only did you come to the game, you came to the teacher's night. So you care. So I better be, you talk to my teacher. You have direct communication with her. I better be doing what I'm supposed to do. And so that encourages the kid to do what they need to do in the classroom.
And I know we have a soundbite from Fleming's principal, right, on this.
To me, it's very powerful, because we often see when change happens, the community gets very involved and
excited, right? It's invigorating to see that success, and it's contagious.
And there are like attendance issues at Fleming. They have a declining enrollment, and if Fleming were to close, you would see the community like probably in uproar, because it means a lot to the community. And he said, I appreciate that, but also when we need you is during the school year too. So take a listen.
We need the support of the community, and it's very easy for the community to come in times of strife. If they were talking about closing the campus or something like that, then the community would be up in arms. But right now, that is not the case, not the case in the foreseeable future. But when me as a principal, I'm doing call outs, I'm sending flyers, I'm putting things on the billboard, I'm reaching out to different organizations within the community to try to get for them to reach out to people who they know. And I just have not seen much success in support.
Okay, that was the principal of Fleming.
Yes, saying, I love that you're fired up. I love that this matters to you, but this matters too, so get involved. And he said he's been doing, as busy as he is with this new system, doing call outs to local organizations and companies saying, hey, if you can't help us, do you know somebody who can help us? And he says he hasn't had any success with it. So
I don't want to ignore the fact of the demonstrations taking place throughout the district today. Are you hearing anything about these demonstrations, these rallies happening at Fleming?
I have not heard anything happening at Fleming. I know that those changes that we just announced last week with the cuts are affecting Fleming. Like they're going from 6 or 7 teachers on one floor to about 4, which means that class sizes will increase. So there's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know exactly who's going to be there next year and who's not going to be there next year. So there's a lot of emotion, but I have not heard of rallies happening on that campus.
There's a lot of concern, especially as we're heading into summer break, just a few weeks away. So something we, of course, will continue to follow throughout the day. Candace, thank you so much for waking up extra early and joining us here.